for Russia to gain full control over Donbass in southern Ukraine, as the latest evolution of Moscow's war aims seem to suggest. Vladimir Putin will need to quickly refresh and reorganize his forces. It is a bold ambition, but where will the troops come from? Russian forces were defeated in the north of the country, as well as Voznesensk and Mykolaiv in the south. The mayor of Mykolaiv said this week that the city was overmotivated to repel the invaders, in contrast to the low morale of the troops in Moscow. "Go home and live," he told Russian soldiers trying to force his city to surrender. "Or come here and die. Welcome to hell, mother." Even if the battalion's 9 battle groups fighting in Mariupol are freed after Putin's optimistic declaration of victory, their exhaustion will mean they cannot push north to Zaporizhia or west to Mykolaiv, and possibly be Odessa anytime soon. And those are just the combat troops. The logistical lines, stretched and harassed from the flanks by Ukrainian raids, are unable to open an access to the west or penetrate into the Donbass. Perhaps Moscow's latest comments about wanting to take all of southern Ukraine were a deception, designed to keep Ukrainian reinforcements around what's left of the Ukrainian coast, rather than redeploying to kill the Ukrainians, Russians in Kherson, Izium, and Donetsk. For Russia to aspire to control the south of the country, it must first overcome the many shortcomings it showed during the march on Kiev in the first weeks of the war. In particular, the prospect of an amphibious landing to threaten Odessa is fanciful, especially given last week's loss of the battleship Moskva, which would have provided essential defense against air attack. The greater the declared war aims, the greater the chance of failure unless Putin's forces can operate as a cohesive force, including with air cover. A Western official said that during the new offensive in Donbass, Russian forces continue to operate in long convoys on single routes, making themselves vulnerable to Ukrainian attacks. Moscow's troops have shown some improvements, the official said, but were not a transformed force, and were beginning to show limitations in providing precision weapons. Any forces recovered from operations in the north of the country are largely fed piecemeal into this fight rather than being held back. We always see Russian Air Force limited to operating above its own troops. It is always very, very concerned about the Ukrainian air defense capability. Ukrainian forces proved adept at launching raids deep behind Russian lines, destroying targets vital to Moscow's war effort. This will thwart all Russian plans to push west. Could the bridge to Crimea be next? The annexation of Crimea in 2014 was hugely popular in Russia, where many saw the return of the Black Sea Peninsula as the righting of a historic wrong. But after the 2014 annexation, Western sanctions were immediately imposed on all transactions with the peninsula. Russian state coffers were forced to foot the bill. Shipping goods from the Russian mainland by air or by ferry has become extremely expensive. Moscow had to build a bridge. In fact, he built 2 side by side over nearly 12 miles at a cost of $3.7 billion. Together, the bridges restrict access to the Sea of Azov, the northeastern part of the Black Sea. The Ukrainian ports there are no longer accessible to large ships. The Kerch Bridge, as it is also called, has great symbolic value, but as a means of supplying Crimea after the 2014 annexation, it is more than just a vanity project. So why didn't Ukraine destroy it? Ben Berry from the International Institute for Strategic Studies said, "Given the importance of Crimea both for Russian combat forces and as a logistics base, it is well protected by ground-based missiles."
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. He's doing the job every day.